90% of God's speakings to you will be in form of impressions, signs, impulses, and signals. And this is why many Christians are confused. Because they are waiting for God to come to say, Nathaniel, my son. And then for a lifetime, they don't hear it. So they are wondering, how does God speak to people? Why are you always saying God is speaking to you? Because they don't know that a large percentage of his speakings are motions of life. They are impulses. They are transmitted through the networkings of the Spirit. And because they don't have a healthy relationship with God, they can't pick it. There are about 7 of these signs. He touched 4 of them. Please, go and write those scriptures down and go and study them. And then know what each of them represent. It's very important. So let me run over it quickly. The first one he talked about was stenazo. Stenazo. It's in Mark 7:33 to 34, Romans 8:23, Hebrews 13:17, James 5:9. Stenazo. And that speaking or leading is a summon for prayer. And so anytime you begin to pick a need to pray, especially because of Edo State, there was Pastor E. Adeboye, there was Dr. Felix Omobude, and patriarchs. You know, when you want to preach in such places, your doctrine will be correct. That's number 1. Number 2, the power of God must manifest because it's a crusade. Number 3, your character will be judged. Because when you are talking, they can pick it. You may be doing like this. They will pick everything about your character, from arrogance to pride. They will censor you because they know God by experience and they have been in this thing for years. So that type of crusade is not, you are being censored. As I sat there, every air that passed, I felt it. It was like all the pores of my body were open. So throughout my sitting there, I was feeling stenazo. Pray more because you need more capacity. So when you enter a place where you feel insufficient, don't worry, it's a sign. The Holy Ghost is telling you, you need to add more stamina. But the cure is prayer. So that's why this kind of leading is a drawing to the place of prayer. The moment that insufficiency happens, it's not that you are not qualified in God. Righteousness qualifies you to stand with God. But it's telling you that you are not prepared for the occasion. So you need to build up. That's what stenazo does. And trust me, if you don't pick these signs, many times you'll be disgraced. After you finish, you'll now come back and everything you were supposed to say, you'll now remember it when you come down. The reason is because you didn't mount up. Stenazo didn't work for you. So when stenazo comes, it's an alarm that you didn't prepare enough. Your insufficiency will affect you. So go to prayer. It's a call to prayer. It's a summon. And you must master it too. I'm telling you. That's why I told you, if you don't know these things sincerely, you are not a spiritual man. You will know. And this is why you will never fail. This is why you will never be taken unawares. Because before you go, you will pick the sign. If you are prepared enough, you will know. If you are not prepared enough, stenazo will activate. And then the way to manage it is by action you take that is not checked. This dimension of God's leading is like a sensor that monitors every decision and every action you take. And if you are healthy in the spirit, it will be very real to you. And when you find this type of leading, it's a call to walk circumspectly. It's a call to obedience. It's a call to sensitivity. So anything you are doing, slow down. God is cautioning you. You are about to enter error. Slow down. So you may not pray when you hear this type of leading, but wait and check. Judge your actions again. Verify everything you want to do and check your conscience. Is your action pure? Many times when you check, you will discover that either your action is not pure or you are about to make an error. That is why God comes like that. There are times when you want to tell your wife something, you will feel embryo. This thing you want to say is not a sin, but you will hurt her heart. And it is not consistent with the character of God. There are times when you want to go somewhere and play a game. You will notice movement. You are not sinning, but God is against it. If you pick this type of leading, you'll be accurate. And so the way to respond to this one may not be prayer, but it's caution. Slow down. In fact, anything you are doing, stop and examine yourself. Find out what is wrong. What am I about to do wrong? And it will be corrected. Of leading is caution and urgency to avoid danger. The difference between embryo and tarasso is that embryo is a caution against error, while tarasso is a caution against danger. So tarasso comes with a form of fear, while embryo comes with reverence. So one guides you from error, the other one guides you from danger. So you want to take a step and you feel that movement. It's also very strong. It means what you're about to enter, your faith is not enough to handle it. Somebody else can enter and his faith will bring him out, but you have not built your faith to that level. Did I tell you my story? When I was going to Owerri to preach, and there was signal, but I said, we are generous. And I went on the journey. 5 minutes into the air, plane started falling. Have you been in a plane that is falling before? May you never be there. See, I'm telling you, I've been in a car before. The car was hit by a big vehicle. And we were spinning on the road. I told everybody, be still, all is well. There was no movement. I was gallant. But this time the Holy Ghost checked. Maybe I've not meditated on scriptures for a long time. Maybe my spirit was weak. And he said, don't make this journey. Don't make this journey. I heard the sound. But I went ahead. I neglected Tarasso. And when we entered the flight, the plane started falling. When myself and Pastor Godwin traveled last week, I saw the plane. I said, that is the plane. I know that one. And I told him, I said, the pilot is a British man. He's an old man. Check. He looked. It was the pilot. I know the plane. But this time, there was no fear. So we entered. We slept throughout the flight. But there was a time when Tarasso, I didn't respond. If you receive Tarasso, the only reason you can go ahead, like he said, you must pray through. Pray until you receive a note of victory. If you don't receive a note of victory and you move, the only way you'll be saved is by the mercy of God. And trust me, if the mercy of God didn't show up that day, I would have died. Because when we landed in Owerri, I went to the pilot and said, what happened? Because I know I will preach about it. And I didn't want to come and say what is not right. The man said, I didn't know what went up over there. It's just a mess, man. It's just a mess. Well, this way. I said, you don't know why we are here. It's messy. It's not a mess. You want to enter a business, you sense danger. It's Tarasso. Don't go into that business. So the only reason you can go into that business is if you pray through and you receive a note of victory. A note of victory is a leap of God in your heart. And it brings ventilation, a sense of joy or assurance. If that thing comes, what has happened is that you have battled that matter and you have overcome. But if you don't receive a note of victory, don't go. You will die. If you don't die, then it's the mercy of God, because mercy prevails over judgment. So Tarasso is a strict warning of God, an urgency to you to avoid danger. Many Christians die because they don't know Tarasso. And the last thing is Parozuno. Acts 17:16. Stirring. This is the one that the evangelists like. You'll find that in Acts 17 verse 16. You also find that in John chapter 5 verse 4 and 7. How many of you remember the story of the pool of Bethesda? You'll find that there.